Maurice able to go today?
No,
Neither?
neither.
Okay. I was reading something this summer, Todd Remisar said about you and how he was happy the way you managed Pascal's minutes to keep him fresh for the postseason. What goes into your approach with minutes per game for players? I think Pascal's 47th in the league this year, for example, and what led to your thinking becoming the way it is, whether it was data study, stuff like that?
Well, you gotta talk to the players about it. Some of it is just experience that I've had over the years with high-level players and managing fatigue, and the game's gotten faster, and so all these things are factors. Also, we have good depth at that position, and so a lot of times what we do, and usually most times what we do, is we play him in 3 stretches in the first half, and that allows a player to never get really totally gassed. When you play a guy 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes, and some players are used to it, some players are very good with it. It's a lot, and then if something happens and you have to go back to him right away, all of a sudden you're looking at the 40s, and so anyway, Pascal's been great to work with on it, and but these conversations are ongoing. When I was in Dallas, Dirk and Jason Kidd, were consistent conversations too. As guys that were veteran guys. So, but those are some of the things.
For him and for everybody else, how much is it what you said, managing the one game in distance versus a full season load and then a postseason and keeping those balanced?
Well, that's it. I mean, it's you can look at a game kind of as a one-off, one-time deal if you got a situation where you got 3 days of rest coming up or 2 days of full days of rest. That's one thing, but the accumulation of minutes is just that. It's cumulative, and if you can keep a player at 33 minutes instead of 36, the way that really I look at it is you're avoiding 3 minutes per game at maximum capacity and maximum fatigue, and over the course of the season there's a wear down effect. So but different guys are different. Some guys tolerate longer stretches of minutes, and some guys actually do better with longer stretches, but it varies, and it's a constant communication thing.
Tyrese's injury, left hip flexion injury, is the first time we've seen that. Is that connected to the groin in any way? Is something something happened? I guess. Where does kind of that come from? I guess.
To my knowledge, it's not connected to the groin. There's some soreness, and so we're at that point in the season, and he had some soreness. He may have been questionable after the Denver game as well, right?
Yeah, I think it was groin for that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's the same leg,
right?
Like the same area.
Yeah,
it's a kind of general area. I don't know if they're related or not. But in the Denver game, he played 40 minutes. Last game he played 36, and so those are higher levels. And as to whether that's the reason he has soreness or not, doesn't really matter. Right now, the right thing to do is to go day to day with this and see where we are as we go day to day.
Right. Obviously, Atlanta's a little bit different since the last time you guys saw them.
Quite a bit different.
Quite a bit different. How is the challenge different? How do they function different?
They're just deeper. They're deeper, and they've got veteran toughness, veteran skill. Levert's the leading scorer the last 5 games. Niang spaces the floor with anybody in the league. And Terrence Mann is, as good of an all-purpose guy off the bench, guard any position, make shots, drive it, rebound, crash, do all that kind of stuff as anybody in the league. And I've seen enough of him. We played the Clippers 2 consecutive years in Dallas, in the playoffs. So I was just thinking about it. I mean, those 3 guys enter the rotation off the bench. And so it really has lifted their team up. And they're an explosive offensive team anyway. And you look at some of the numbers they've put up lately, they're very daunting.
Coach, 2-part question for me. First part, Dyson Daniels getting a lot of notoriety for his defense in the league. How does that not necessarily change but heighten things in your game plan? Like, what are you telling your players to kind of watch out for when it comes to a defender like that?
Yeah, he's stealing the ball at by far the highest rate in the league. Look at the play at the end of the Memphis game. If you want, a tangible example of, this ain't the guy to try to go at. And so you just have to have a high level of awareness and respect for where he is on the floor. And over the years, there have been guys that you just try to avoid. Kawhi Leonard was one. Chris Paul, during stretches of his career, he was an absolute menace. And there have been many others, and so you just gotta know where they are and be careful about challenging them, because the quickness, the anticipation, the hands, and then there's a level of respect that these guys get from officials too.
And the other part of the question is, offense is, the sexier thing in the league, but do you think that with the notoriety he's getting for playing defense, that could become something that's contagious and maybe something that other players try to capitalize on in the near future?
Well, defense is massively important in this game, especially with how offense has exploded. And so, if you look at people that have been inducted in the Hall of Fame in the last few years, there's a real emphasis and a real nod to great defensive players. Ben Wallace, Bobby Jones. I don't know if Dikembe is in the Hall of Fame or not, but I would assume that he will be. And there are others. Maurice Cheeks, when he went into the Hall of Fame, his reputation was as one of the steadiest point guards in the game. A guy that had a great impact on winning at both ends of the floor, but defensively he was, insanely good. And Michael Cooper, another one. All these guys have gone in, and so the Hall has really recognized the importance of defense, and that's something that I think today's player should take note of. And the more that guys like Dyson get notoriety and respect for defense, the more sexy defense becomes. And we've worked very hard to become a better defensive team, and I happen to believe that defense is much sexier than offense at this point in time.
All good? Thank you.